She was a highly skilled professional in a special industry. Even this seasoned, rich second generation was captivated by her. The next day, he invited the girl to his home for an in-depth conversation. But as soon as the girl got out of the car, she couldn't help but laugh. The three-story villa received $2,000. The information she found. She realized Ivan's father was Russia's richest man. She couldn't help but fantasize about seducing this rich second generation and successfully getting out of trouble. During their subsequent conversation, Annie showcased her professionalism in this line of work, donning a miniskirt and swaying her body to electronic music. Despite her fiery moves, Ivan finished in a flash. Annie couldn't help but party again, along with Annie's best friend. They witnessed the grand celebration and couldn't help but sigh. For Ivan, this was just an ordinary party. After a night of revelry, Annie slept at the sweet club and asked for a week off. She didn't care whether the boss agreed or not because she couldn't earn $15,000 a month at the nightclub. She went home immediately to pack her bags and then began to enjoy a life like royalty. She was picked up by luxury cars when she went out, lived in a top-tier mansion, danced and sang at night, and had massages and treatments during the day. She even had more than one housekeeper. Such a wonderful plot must be one. During the time Annie was with Ivan, her values were constantly being refreshed, while Ivan only did one thing every day: play. At a party, someone said they wanted to go to Las Vegas. The manager personally came out to greet them, and they were immediately put into the reserved presidential suite. A table full of foreign cigarettes and liquors was casually thrown around. At the gambling table, they did whatever they wanted, even to go back to Russia to inherit the family fortune, and Annie has to go back to work at the nightclub. But whether it's because he's having withdrawal symptoms with Annie or doesn't want to go back to the proper life in Russia, Ivan suddenly has a bold idea. Annie's hint reminded Ivan that this was Las Vegas, and whether they were colleagues or international, as long as they had an ID card, they could get married. Ivan then began a heartfelt confession to Annie. "Will you really marry me? Really? Are you serious?" "I'm serious. 3 carats. The next day, the two got married and went to the square to celebrate wildly, as if they wanted the whole world to know the news. Annie successfully got out of poverty and naturally quit her job at the nightclub. Everyone looked up to her as an example. Only her nemesis made sarcastic remarks. "Oh, Diamond. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, Annie, play in my fucking face again. Babe, you stay jealous. Babe, stay jealous, honey." Jealousy is a to verify that the man was a priest. Unable to leave immediately, he had to send his subordinates first. The subordinates' sudden arrival interrupted the two's intimacy. Annie was stunned when she saw 2 burly men suddenly barge in. The purpose of their trip was to verify whether Ivan was really married, but they didn't expect that Ivan would actually take out a marriage certificate. Seeing that it was a real marriage certificate, the bearded man realized. He quickly sent the photo to the priest. The priest's face changed drastically upon seeing the message. He didn't even care about the child's baptism and immediately reported the situation to Ivan's mother. The lady scolded the priest, and the two of them kept blasting each other through the loudspeaker. At first, Ivan didn't care, but when he heard that his parents were on their way to America, his expression changed immediately. He put on his clothes and was about to run a single sober word. The priest had no choice but to take Ivan away first, but Annie kept asking Ivan questions, begging him to give her a satisfactory answer. Seeing this, her rival finally seized the opportunity and began to mock Annie relentlessly. Annie didn't stand for it and slapped him. The two started fighting. Fortunately, the bald man intervened in bonds to build their own personas. When real trouble came, who would consider other people's feelings? If there was anyone, it would only be Baldy. Society. Soon, to avoid any accidents, the priest parked the car directly in front of the courthouse. The next morning, they used their connections to cut in line and were the first to enter the courtroom. But before the judge could even speak, Annie started frantically explaining that the two were truly in love. The judge couldn't get a word in edgewise. Meanwhile, the still drunk Annie vomited in the courtroom. The scene became incredibly chaotic. The judge didn't quickly end the chaos, and, on the grounds that the two's registration information was not in the local area, kicked everyone out of the courtroom. That TO dissolved the marriage. They had to go to Las Vegas. The priest had no choice but to take Ivan to see his parents first. Their only purpose was to get her, made them lose faith in their families. Annie is so cruel. Annie mistook the 10,000 yuan for lecherous looks, and now she mistook Baldy's sincere gaze for a hooligan. The next day, it snowed heavily outside. Annie packed her bags and left the villa with Baldy. On the way, Baldy accompanied Annie to collect his reward and then safely took her to her rented room. Annie looked outside, as if she hadn't yet recovered from the experience. She stared blankly at the dull man before her. Perhaps at this moment, Annie realized that only an ordinary man could provide true love. She didn't choose to leave out of love, or perhaps Annie had long been accustomed to giving her body in return. Annie climbed onto the bald man, but when the man tried to give her a gentle kiss, she suddenly broke down, tears that had suppressed the whole farce pouring out, like a child collapsing onto the man and wailing. Whether the bald man would be cherished was uncertain, but at this moment, the girl was still thinking about the unexpected. Perhaps the Cinderella story only exists in fairy tales. In reality, Prince Charming might just be someone who lost his parents and died unexpectedly.